Do you need a knife so big it could split the Red Sea like Moses? Well, folks, I want to introduce you to this limited run knife over at the K-Bar website. That's the only place you can pick this up at this time, is the Becker BK29 Moses. That's the name of this giant monstrosity of a blade that they are offering with a couple other knives as well that they throw in for a very good price when you add it all up together. So today we're going to thrash on this thing for you, just show you pros and cons, run it up against the BK9 just to show you what it can do in comparison to that, and whether or not this might be a knife you need to run over and purchase because you need some heavy splitting, heavy power, or if your BK9 is the knife for you. So let's go ahead, jump to it, see what this Moses BK29 can do. All right, so we've seen some of the action. We'll be running in more along the way as we have taken this BK29 out. And I want to run it up against, just for perspective and just talking points, because I know if you are looking at the BK29, you're interested in it, you're probably wondering, how does it compare to the SE Hungerless and how does it compare to the BK9? So I wanted to run those up against each other. Now, the handle we're going to start off with first is the exact same handle you'll get on any Becker. I really like the handle. It's very ergonomic. You know, it's contoured, it's round, it's got a really nice hook out the back, so you know it's going to keep in your hand when you are doing those larger swinging tasks. And it's got plenty of real estate there on the knife. Now, I have not upgraded to my Carta handle scales as of yet. These two guys do, and I always upgrade to my Carta or G10 on all of my Beckers. They just not only help balance the blade a little bit more because it adds another ounce or two to the handle side, but it just gives you a level of traction because out of the gate you're getting that glass reinforced nylon, you know, Zytel type of material, which is slick. There's no way around it, and it's not my favorite out of the box, but it's very ergonomic. It's just not super high traction, whereas my Carta will definitely help with that. Now let's discuss the performance. I mean, that's the main crux of it. How does it perform, and particularly how does it perform against these two other blades that are very popular in chopping, you know, in heavy, large machete size knives. Now, the BK29 here is going to be the biggest Becker that I believe they make on the market that's not like a kukri designed. So you're looking at a 10-inch blade overall, and that is going to be the same size as on the SE Hungerless, and it's about an inch longer than the BK9. So you're getting an extra inch on that. Then you are seeing here that it has the widest blade out of all three of these. It's very wide. It goes from narrow to wide and kind of flares out, which is really cool. And then it's got that really nice Bowie clip, but different than the Bowie clip on, say, the BK9. It's just different, very thick, a lot thicker than on the BK9. So your batoning is really where you're going to see a huge amount of performance, and better performance than you will with these two other knives. Not a ton, but you'll see it because it's a 1/4 inch thick. So the thickness helps with that, and it has this swedge all the way along the entire spine, but it's a very, very thick swedge. So it's about 3/16 of an inch thick all the way through, so it doesn't really damage your batoning stick all that bad, and actually will damage it less than your BK9 clip will. So that is something to consider there. And it is the thickest out of these two. These two are 3/16. This one is going to be a 1/4 inch. But the surprising thing is that it's actually not the heaviest out of all three of these. Part of that, again, goes back to the handles. Your BK9 is going to come in at 1 pound 2 ounces. The SE Hungerless is 1 pound 6 ounces. And the BK29 is 1 pound 4 ounces. So it's actually in the middle of these two. Now, part of that is because of the micarta. If I were to put my micarta handle scales on here, I bet you it would be 1 pound 5 or 1 pound 6 ounces, and that would actually help with the balance point. So that's what I really want to hit at. We've talked about the batoning, fantastic in that realm, and the best out of these three, just slightly, but it is better than the other two that are in the example that we're looking at because of its thickness. It's a 1/4 inch. It's just physics, just the way it works. The chopping as well is very good. I would say it's slightly better than the BK9 and about on par with the SE Hungless. You're going to see similar chopping just because of the weight and the slightly larger blade and the slightly bigger portion of belly. It gives you a better sweet spot and bigger sweet spot to chop wood with. So on par with the larger, heavier choppers out there, and slightly better performance on the chopping than on the BK9. Not a lot, but you know, you can tell it's a little bit of a better chopper. It'll take out bigger chunks quicker than the BK9 will. Now, this is the portion that I wasn't super stoked on, is the finer work. Now, it's doable, just like with any knife, it's doable that are on these larger sizes, but this one was noticeably front end heavy. It's noticeably heavy in this area, which again aids with either batoning or chopping, but does not aid with the carving, whittling. You know, if you're making spears, if you have to, you know, maybe you're forming a tent peg, you know, something like that. It was noticeably tiresome in my hand. I got really kind of fatigued when I was doing those type of tasks because it was so blade heavy compared to these two others, which are more equally balanced, and particularly on the BK9. The BK9 is a little bit better balanced on the overall, so I can easily do, you know, finer carving, whittling, feather sticks, all that type of stuff with the BK9 than I could with the BK29. Now, again, that's just because of the size and the way that they've designed the blade kind of flaring out as you go down. All of your weight is going to be more centered around here, whereas the BK9 is centered more around the handle, closer to the handle in its proportion, and same with the SE. Now, that the weight distribution will be helped a little bit when you throw micarta handle scales or G10 handle scales on here that are a little denser, so that will help the balance. But that is something noticeable that I wanted to touch on with you, is that if you are thinking you're going to be doing a lot of finer tasks with the BK29, it is the most fatiguing out of all three of these knives. So the things to consider: do you really care about that? Are you always having a smaller knife on you? Who cares? You want the power and the splitting capability, awesome. But if you want an overall do everything knife, I think that the BK9 is actually the best on the table once you do all the tricking out to do everything, and the SE is a close second, and then the BK29 is the best when it comes to splitting and comparable to the SE when it comes to chopping. So you just got to weigh, when you're buying knives and when you're buying any piece of gear, what do you want this item to do, and then decide, is this the right item for you? So the sheath is what you'd expect from any Becker. It's just different color. This is the tan and black, but you're going to get your little Velcro pouch here for either a smaller knife, multi-tool, fire steel, stone, you know, sharpener, whatever. You got your Pals webbing on the back, and then you do have your tear away with a button to put on your belt if you wish. And then you got your nice button snap that's going to keep it nice and secure. You're not going to cut yourself. And then we do have that molded plastic insert on the inside. So for the price, you know, again, decent. You know, if you buy this thing, I would highly recommend doing leather or Kydex, you know, do some form of custom if this is going to be one of your main go-to big choppers. So we'll hit price with you. Now, it's a collaboration price. You know, you're not just paying just for this knife, that's it. You're going to get, along with this knife, the Becker BK5, as well as, I believe it's called the Snake Charmer, which is a neck knife in S35 VN. So you get 3 knives with the price that I'm about to tell you, including the BK29, and it's $200 over on the K-Bar website. So three knives, $200. I think that's actually a screaming deal when you do the math. This by itself would average then about $100 is what you could expect. You know, if you're just buying it by itself, but they throw it all together in one package, $200, screaming deal. And it's, again, over on the K-Bar website only at this time. So if you're interested, and to my knowledge, it's just a limited run, hop over there. We'll have a link in the description below, and you'll get all 3 blades. Well, folks, in conclusion, you've seen, you know, the performance, we've talked about it, and ultimately you got to make the choice. Do you just love Beckers in general and you just want a bigger chopper? Awesome, this thing's going to perform, and you're going to get some other blades to throw in too. You know, or are you happy with your BK9? So that's really your call. You're going to have to decide. But in all honesty, guys, just the cool factor, the giant large blade, the thicker spine, you know, all those things just give you a different you know, experience than you would with a lot of other knives out there on the market. I'd love to see this become a full production run. I think there's a lot of people out there that will dig its performance level and capability. So guys, thanks so much for coming over here, checking out the channel. Please subscribe, comment, like, share this video. Check us out on all the relevant social media as well. It's a great way to see what's up and coming. And always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared. We'll see you out there.